Hey everybody, welcome back to the special edition of Pocket Change. Today we're going to talk about the items that you need to be a reseller. I don't know if it's right, but I know it's what I think you need. And my partner, Joel, what do you think?
This is definitely special. We're
It's
definitely
special.
we're definitely
Yeah,
special.
we should have helmets on riding the small bus to school. I agree.
Tinfoil
Yes.
hats.
Yeah, tinfoil. Yeah, that's why I keep my tinfoil for.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, we've talked about this a few times, folks, but the big thing is there's a few things you can get started very easily on eBay with just a few items, but there are some major items that will make your life a lot easier. A lot easier. One of them is number one, you can't do eBay without a scale.
Well, now,
And
I
we're
mean,
not talking
let's
about a
talk about.
bathroom scale. We're not talking about a bathroom scale. We're talking about a shipping weight
But the
scale.
scale is like the fourth thing on the list, really. I mean, you need to really think about these things.
Okay. I hadn't put as much thought into it. So enlighten us, oh wise one. What is number one on? Are we starting with 1 or 10?
We're starting with
Least to
one.
greatest or greatest to
The
least?
most important thing you have to have is a smartphone
A
or
camera
a
and a
PC.
podcast.
Yeah, a camera and a podcast. There you go. Yeah, you got to have a podcast because that's what makes you successful on eBay. No, it doesn't help at all. It just gives you something to do on your downtime. It keeps you from, touching yourself so much. So,
We're drinking.
or drinking. You got to find a hobby if you're not drinking. No, but I think most people can do it. A lot of people just do it with a smartphone. Me personally, I prefer to do it on a PC. Smartphone is important in the fact that I take all my pictures with my smartphone. I list items. I do researches on my smartphone. And you can manage all your messages with your smartphone. What do you use your smartphone for?
Well, I have started doing okay, so I have a clicker for my PC.
What's a clicker?
And it's a little button that I click that can I had to buy a new one. I had one just for presenting, but now the one I've got does all kinds of different things. So like what I noticed was there's a button on it that I can actually use my camera that I'm using right here to take some pictures
Yeah.
in the ugly Betty.
Yeah.
But I use my smartphone, and I mean it's beat up. You folks can tell, but I use it a lot for taking pictures on all the items. I've started using the other a little bit. I still prefer the smartphone, and they've made it a lot easier. Even in the last 3 years that I've been on eBay, you can go in and set up your draft. You can pull the draft on your smartphone. You can take the pictures. You don't have to take them now and then upload them. Because it used to be you had to take them. You would take them with your smartphone. Then you would come over to the computer and you would click upload from mobile phone, and then it would pop up a message on your mobile phone, and you would enter the pictures and highlight which ones and click it. Then you go back over to the PC and edit it. You don't even have to do that now, folks. You can do all that. You can go, okay, I'm going to do a draft on my computer, or you can do a draft on your smartphone, and literally click take pictures and take them right there, and it will load them in. Now it won't. It's not as easy to edit from the smartphone as it is from the PC, but you can even edit them right here on the smartphone. So yes, the number one thing I would say is if you've got a smartphone, which you probably already do, download the eBay app,
Yeah.
and you can do a lot from it.
I agree. I take all the pictures on my smartphone. And then what I do is I make a, what do you call
Cake,
it? No. Yeah,
pie.
I make a cake and then I rub it on my chest because yeah, I like to do that. No, I make one draft of. You can take 24 pictures. So what I'll do is I'll take 24 different items and put my main picture in the draft.
Uh-huh.
And then I
Here's a
use that and bring it up, and I take the first picture and I search it on Google Lens, and then I find the item. Then I'll find a sell similar, and I will then go back to it. Use the button to take the pictures from the smartphone and go back. I think that's quicker. You can list like 24 things in minimal time that way. But
The only
either
problem I
way,
have with that, folks, is here's the thing. You better go back through everything that Sell Somewhere has loaded in already, because while it won't load the pictures, it will load in everything they put in description. And if their description has something wrong, you now become responsible for that to your customers. So you have to go back and check that too. What Ben's went through is the way that we used to do it all the time. You want me blocking my? I mean,
I want you blocking your air, man, because not that way. I don't want to see your legs or your crotch. I mean, come on, it's a little much. I just want you blocking the freaking air.
Well, the one
Yeah,
who
that's
keeps
better.
talking about. I mean, if I could put my camera where I wanted it, I mean,
That camera has nothing to do with the audio, but that's fine. But my point is, that's what I do. I use my
folks, he
smartphone to
tells me
take
he
my
wants me in the
pictures.
center of the screen. He wants me in this. He wants me in
I just
this.
want you to cover that air conditioner up. God damn. I mean, I
Wow, what's wrong with
understand.
there? I think it's a. I think it is a
That's wrong with it.
beautiful air
It
conditioner.
is a beautiful air conditioner.
Show them
but
what
it's
they won
freaking
today,
loud.
folks. Here on The Price is Right. Come on down. What is the retail prices? Here, I'll move it over. Does that work for you? That way I can set in the center of the screen.
That works perfect. Thank you. Now
Hey,
you get the air up your crack and you don't have to hear it.
I wish I did.
But
My crack's pretty hot, right?
I turn my air off. I got no air running in this place.
Could I
I'm
do
sweating my
that?
balls off for you guys. But you know what? Smartphones, I think, is that's the number one thing. You need a smartphone, whether you list on it or whether you just take your pictures on it or whether you use it to do your research. I mean, you can use Google Lens on there. I think the main thing you need is a smartphone to start.
And then I would branch that off either 1A or 2 with you need the eBay app. It's pretty self-explanatory. And you need the Google app. Not
the eBay, the
not the
Mercari, the
Chrome
Poshmark.
app,
Yeah.
but the Google app.
Yep, I agree. All right. So number two thing I think is important is lighting. And you think lighting is important because good pictures is what sells your item. So you're in a basement, so you've got some kind of LED or some kind of lighting behind you. If you don't have that, you can take your pictures near a window and have natural light, and it works fine as long as you have good natural light. Myself, I have 3 different light boxes, and then in my garage, I have a professional lighting system set up so I can take pictures on my workstation. You got to have good lighting. Natural light, fine, early, if you haven't made any money, but you can get cheap LED ring lights or clip-on lights for around $20 to $40. That's worth every penny that you'll spend because the better the picture, the better it's going to sell. You agree?
I 100% agree. In fact, if you see right here, folks, here on this wall, this still needs to be painted. You see
Yes,
where I'm
we're waiting
pointing
on
right
that.
here? And then right, let's see, which way do I have to go? Right there. Not the square, but this right here and this right here. Those are 2 lights I bought off Amazon. They charge literally through a USB Type-C. They have about 12 hours of continuous burn time, and they have 4 different colors controlled by remote. And I can, with the remote that's sitting on top, I'd show you right now, but I don't have it over here. I'd have to go pick it up and you'd see my hiney then.
No, thank you.
But there's a remote on top of this one. I lay it on top of it. You can cut one on, you can cut both of them on, you can change the tones of both of them. But I have that, and then of course, you guys, if you've watched our show, you've seen the Ugly Duckling, Ugly Betty, whatever, the huge light box that I built together from scrap that takes beautiful pictures. She's so ugly. I mean, she just is. She's the ugliest thing out there in the world. But she works to take. If you go look at all my art pictures, the art gallery pictures, all except like 2 of them I have on there that are still old, outdated. That was before I had her, but takes beautiful pictures. All the watch pictures, every picture I take except for clothes is done inside of that. And I have inside there, I have it now. There was a better way to do it, folks. We'll get to that when we get the light boxes. But I have a light inside there that I can change tones on as well. So yes, lighting is huge because I can tell you when I first started, I was taking pictures. I only had one. I had a pull string down here, light bulb. So I pull that, and then I try to figure out how to not cast a shadow on the things I was taking pictures of. And it was absolutely incredibly ridiculous. So you do need some lighting, and you can get some really nice ones. Like I said, these are really nice. I'll put clothes on that table right there that's behind me,
Mhm.
spread it out, measure out. It lights up really nice. And, now you can buy the plug-in kind because my wife has one of the plug-in ones. They're more for makeup, but they work just as well. But they're slightly cheaper, but I got two there, and those are detachable from the wall. I can move them around. I can do other things with them. The ones that are for the makeup work really well as well. I have you borrowed my wife's and used it, but it's plug in. It's only one, and it doesn't have all the different settings. And it was like $16. So
It's
if
still
$4,
cheap.
yeah, it's still cheap. It's relatively cheap.
Exactly. So, I mean, professional lighting can be done on a budget, right? So, the other thing, third, is a clean background, I think. I
Well,
use
let's back up
white.
the lighting here. I just want to
Okay.
say, folks, you do not have to spend $50 on the ring with the umbrella. I call it the ring with the umbrella. Like Ben's actually has some real professional
I
lights that
do.
are like, they're like a ring with the umbrella, like you would see in a photo gallery place, like where they're doing headshots and, all those places. You don't have to buy those. You can get just as good a lighting with things like this right here and regular can lights. You can buy the LED can lights that snap in stuff and plug in. Those work great. But, you know, you don't have to spend. I think the little can lights are like $16 at Lowe's and Home Depot right now too for little 4-inch ones. Um, so you can use those as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I bought expensive lights because I was going to do something different and I ended up using them for this. So, but, lighting is important. You don't want it to have a shadow. You want to make sure that it's clear. Clean background is my next thing. You can use a white poster board, photo backdrop, even a clean sheet. If you just have a sheet that you can pull taut, you can take a picture on that. So it wouldn't cost you. Most everybody has a white sheet in their closet. They're not using it this moment. You could use that. Used to be everything had to be white, so it was showed on Google as well as eBay. That's gone away, but I still stick to the white background for the most part because I think it gives the best contrast for my items.
See, I don't. I like black. But then I have a lot of items because here's the thing. For one, he's right, clean background, but you do not want it shiny. I tried a plastic tablecloth when I first started, and for some reason, it wasn't a real high gloss. It wasn't but it didn't work. It would cause glare, and it just, no, you want it as dull, as flat as possible. If you have satin or eggshell or semi gloss walls in your house and you're going to try to use it for taking pictures, don't. Believe it or not, it will cause some problems with your artwork if you're hanging it on that type of wall. You want a flat white or flat black wall. Now I prefer black. He prefers the white. That's more old school. The white is. The black I think gives a lot better contrast, and I try to use velvet as well as we showed it one other time. I have two different colors of I went to Hobby Lobby and bought project board, which is dull. It's a dull black and then a dull white, and it works very well. And again, it depends on what you're doing. Like if I'm doing a frame on a piece of artwork that's black, I'm not going to use it on black. It would be crazy because the frame's going to blend in. The camera really can't can't
Makes
tell the
sense.
difference. So, and if you've got a dark wood, use a white. But if you've got a lighter wood, use a frame. Or if you've got anything that's gold, pocket watch or regular watch or necklace or pendants or anything that's precious metal, black helps cut down on the glare. You can change it to white, take it on a black background, and if you prefer the white look on your page, you can go in and a lot of times the little tool, the little cutout tool that eBay has now is a whole lot better than it used to be.
For sure.
It used to, it would cut out half your item. He's like, well, wait a minute. But you want to make sure that you want to get the glare absorbed as much as possible. So either way, white or black, or even I've seen some now that are blue. They don't really have as big a issue with the background colors now. The biggest thing is you're having to light it up and you're taking with a camera. You want it to be flat. You don't want it to
Yep.
be, and I'm not talking about flat like this. I'm talking about
matte.
No gloss. Yeah,
Yeah.
very heavy matte.
Yeah, and most of mine are. I don't have anything shiny. I agree with that. So, and then the fourth thing is, in my opinion, shipping scale. You gotta have a shipping scale. You gotta spend the money on a shipping scale. They're about $20. Find one on eBay or on Amazon,
You can
or you
find
can
one on
go
Amazon,
to
you can find it eBay, whatever. I will tell
you can
you,
actually buy one of those at the at USPS. They're not very much. They sell one right there. But it's
no,
critical to avoid overpaying for what your postage is, right? So if you're guessing that it weighs whatever, you're going to guess wrong. Under 4 ounces,
about
under 8 ounces, under
about
12
well,
ounces makes a big difference in the price. So buy a digital postal scale, and
I
it's worth
would
every penny you
say,
spend.
I'm going to interrupt him, guys. I would say buy you an Accutect with the plug-in adapter.
Yeah, that's the one we use.
Don't cheap out and buy the cheap Accutech. It's just like they're the same. Yeah. What you're missing is the plug-in adapter. And while they are still very good on batteries, the set that came with it wore out 3 months ago. Rather than put another set in it, I just plugged in my adapter. I'm not, why worry about putting batteries in? If I have to go take it with me to weigh something, great. I'll put batteries back in it.
Mine
But
are all on batteries. I just buy new batteries. What are you talking about? I agree, though.
I got mine with a plug-in
I like to
adapter.
move mine around.
It was like $1 more to
Yeah,
have the plug-in adapter.
mine
Well,
has that.
because you can buy it for $1 to $2 cheaper without it. Accutech, though, I really like their setup.
It's a good scale.
Well, the good thing about it is it has fold-out sides, so if you're rolling up a sweatshirt, put it on it, because here's what you're going to find out. You can mess up if it falls off the scale.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like the fact that Accutech has the fold-up thing, too, because if you're weighing a painting and you put it in a box, which you should be weighing it with the box that you're going to ship it in.
For sure.
However you're going to ship it, you should be weighing it how you're going to ship it. It will actually sit on the scale on the floor and balance itself, and you don't have to worry about anything. So a lot of other scales are they're not that way. And the old school one with the metal top that you lay the thing on and it springs down, don't buy that, folks. You will end up killing yourself in cost.
All right. Number 5, I think the fifth most important thing in my mind is a measuring tool. I don't know if you agree with that, but tape measure, really makes a difference. And
I don't know about pins, but I had mine built in from birth.
Exactly. Yeah, well, he can't sell anything over 5.5 inches, but you know what? It works. All right. Tape measure, I have multiple different things. I use a yardstick that I use, and I have a regular ruler, and then I have a cloth tape measure, and for all the different things you're going to do. I use the cloth tape measure on my clothing so I can get the full length. I use the yardstick on anything over 12 inches, and then anything that I'm taking a picture of, I just lay a regular ruler in front of it so they know how big it is. We explained your measuring process. From the taint, or
Anyway,
he likes his.
I have a yardstick.
You got that T stick you use all the time.
And then I've got a ruler, just a regular ruler. And then I really like a 4-foot. Now, construction, as you guys can tell, I do construction. So I have a 4-foot T-square. Now, I will tell you one thing I really like about this is it measures. Of course, it's got reverse here. So you gotta be careful about that. I did have a piece of tape over because I was like, over one side, and so I was like, people were so stupid, they would send me questions and be like, so is that 40 or 8?
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But the one thing I like about it is it measures from here and from here. It measures here and here. Actually measures from underneath here because that's a 2 right there. So this is a little different. I'd like to have a little better one, but this one works just fine. But you can make 2 measurements kind of at once with it if you lay it on a piece of clothing right. Okay, so I can actually measure like showing here. Let me stand it up. The reason I like this, okay, so if I put, now pay attention to the numbers here. So if I put a pair of jeans on this, I can literally make 2 measurements with the same picture. Because I can measure from here out this way across the waist. So tell me what that waist measurement is laying flat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can measure down across the leg, and it'll tell me how long that is. And then I just simply slide it down. And if it's women's jeans, now what are we measuring? We're measuring the hips across, and we're measuring the inseam.
Yes.
So that's why I like a T. I got to where I was like, I love my T-square because it lets me take 2 measurements at once for 1 picture. Love it. Of course, you're still going to get questions. So and what's the exact size on that inseam? If you refer to picture, and I want to start stamping my pictures so I can reply to messages. Be like, if you refer to picture 1B, you'll see very quickly if you open your eyes, dummy. No, I can't talk like that. This is your store. You can talk however you want, but you don't talk like that if you want to sell a whole
No.
lot. But I've gotten to where I don't even answer messages anymore.
Yeah. Me too.
I just don't. If you ask me a question about it, I've already got it covered in the pictures and in the description.
I'd only answer questions that are not already covered in the picture. If you ask me a question that is truly there, then I'm going to ignore it and probably block you because I'm thinking you're a problem. So then the next thing I think you really need to think about as a eBay reseller or online reseller is your packing supplies, right? I use poly mailers pretty much for all my clothes, bubble mailers for all my smalls. And then, I have a bunch of different size boxes that I keep on hand. Your USPS priority mailers.
I don't keep those on hand anymore.
Now that I have a Poshmark closet that I don't really sell a whole lot on, I am going to try to get some of the what do you call them? The regular mailers that they have. So if you have a Poshmark closet, you can get, what's the one we sell all the time on eBay?
USPS Ground Advantage?
Yes. So now if you have a Poshmark closet, you can get USPS Ground Advantage boxes, which eventually will be available for everybody. But they do have them on Poshmark. So if you have a Poshmark closet, you got to call a phone number, which I haven't done yet, and they'll send you boxes that are Ground Advantage boxes, which is really cool. And it doesn't
eBay
say,
used to have, if you had a certain size store, you could get certain supplies too.
I get supplies every month, $50 every quarter that I get. And I've been buying the 12 by 6 by 12. You can get 2 of those. You can get 50 boxes for and use your $50 credit. I also buy the poly mailers and the different things. You're still at the smaller level, so you don't get any of that.
Speaking of shipping supplies, I have learned this. The best shipping supply you can buy. You do have to kind of count it into your cost, but I went and looked at the way you and I ship artwork bins, and I went and looked, and this is actually cheaper. If you will buy the TV moving boxes.
Wow, they're not cheaper.
It is cheaper added with everything that I was doing.
Well, yeah.
Putting the piping around it and doing all that, and then buying the extra boxes. So it is, and here's the thing. So if you're shipping a small, he's right. He's going to say, no, it's not cheaper. Well, if you've got a 19 by 19 painting, which there's very few of those, but if you got a 19 by 19, it is cheaper just to do it on your own with a regular box that you can order a bundle of them and do it that way. But if you've got something that is over 20 inches,
you're wrong.
I've figured it up. Even though I lost $6 on that one, I would have
go to Grainger on eBay. Grainger on eBay. You can get a 36 by 30 box. Pretty damn cheap, about $4 a piece.
Well, now that may be true, but you don't get all the stuff inside of it. That's the thing. Is with the TV moving box, you get everything inside. So you get all the padding, you get all the foam, you get everything with it. And when you calculate all that up, because even noodles
are cheap
now,
$1.25.
no, they're not anymore. Even at Dollar General, at least here, they're $3 for that stupid noodle.
No, I bought a case before they went up, so I still have a bunch.
I mean,
You
per
have to
noodle,
rethink that when I run out
$3.
of my case of noodles. But
But
the other things you need tape, packing tape, scissors, you need shipping labels, right? You can
the
just print
biggest
on
thing is
paper,
the little
but at
noodles.
some point, you're
Those
going to
are
need the
high.
label.
Now you were doing well on getting those for a while, but those are
Yeah,
high dollar packing noodles.
yeah.
The
So
little
the next thing,
popcorn.
yeah, exactly. So the next thing you need to think about is a printer. It's easy to start off with a regular inkjet printer that you already have that you're using, but you need to upgrade to a thermal printer like a Rollo or a Dymo that everybody tells you. But really, what you need to do is buy the cheapest freaking printer you can buy on Amazon because they all work the same. And those Rollo and Dymos need specific labels. The other ones just use whatever label. So I have the one that I use right here. It's just a little cheap
Hmm.
ROHS. I paid like $20 for this and it works really good. And I can use any label I want with it. So Joel bought a fancy one and he needs a special label. Right?
No, I can't get it. I can't. Hang on. Oh, it's not wanting to come up for me.
What?
I bought this bad boy right here. I had one issue with it, and I felt real stupid. Remember when I had the issue with it?
Yeah,
And I
I do.
emailed the company, and they were like, "Send us a picture of exactly what yours." So I sent a picture of the label, and I sent a picture, and they were like, "We want some pictures of the machine." Sent a picture of the machine. They said, "You don't have it closed all the way."
But Joel held off. The very first thing I think you need is to buy one of these printers.
As soon as you make
And
your
Joe
first
was like,
it's a
no,
hundred
no, no,
bucks.
no, no, no. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. And then eventually, when you bought one, what'd you say? Should
Here's
have done
what
it.
I should have done it sooner. Number one, it's a whole lot easier. Number two, believe it or not, now part of the reason I bought the One Izzy roller one that I bought, now I would have bought a flat label one, whatever, but the reason I bought that one is because that one, the One Izzy right there, actually has an app on the phone
Yes.
that I can actually print the label from eBay on my phone.
Can you do that?
Yes, I've done it several times. I've just said, I've been setting it in front of the TV and been like, you know what? I know that's a such and such. I know I can take it down to 4 ounces. It's going in a bubble mailer, 8x5x1. I'm gonna throw it in there later. I know what it weighs. It's gonna weigh like 3.1 ounce. So I'm gonna put it in for 4 ounces. Because after you sell so many of one item, you start
Yeah.
to know what they weigh. So I just put it in, hit print. When I came down later, it was already sitting there.
Nice.
So, I mean, so that's what I like about now. Ben's cheap one works great. Nothing wrong with it. I did end up spending $100 on mine.
I can't send it from my phone, but yeah.
But I can do that. I can send it from my phone. And here's the cool thing: I can be anywhere in the world and come into a whole bunch of labels printed out. Now they did send me. I bought it for $100, and I got 500. My first 500 labels free. They came with
That's
it.
cool.
So I'm not even run out of. I'm down to like I think I've got one roll left. But I mean, and then I looked at the round labels. They're really not that. I mean, you can buy a pack of like 10 for like $30. It's not a whole lot. A pack of 10 rolls.
And labels?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that much.
How many's on a roll though? That's my point.
I think there's like 250 on those rolls.
Yeah, so they're super cheap.
It's
Labels are super
2,500.
cheap.
So but the thermal printer will save you. I didn't. I held out. Ben's kept telling me I held out. And I would print it out on my laser printer, which I get it. Printing out on my laser printer costs like 3 cents.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I would go
time.
over and I would have to cut it out with my little straight cutter or my scissors, And I will tell you this. Okay, UPS doesn't care, but USPS, they can get right little snippy if you cut out that one little box down there on the bottom of the label. Because I don't know what they use that for, but there's a little QR code way down there on the
Exactly, a
bottom.
little square one.
And if you cut that off, they get really upset with you. I don't know what it's used for. Please don't go postal on me if you work for the Postal Service. I would be curious to know. But anyway, but you cut it out, and then you got to tape it down, which you're gonna because your shipping tape's only about that wide. It's about an inch and a half, 2 inches wide, unless you're buying the big 4 inch. Even with the 4 inch on the label, you're gonna have to put two pieces,
This is 4 inches to you.
4 inches,
I'm just saying you went the big 4 inch.
the
I'm
big
just
4 inch. Yeah. Anyway, let me finish talking.
Sorry.
So I would, if I could go back, I would have bought the thermal printer much quicker. I'd have bought it my first like $6,200.
Yeah.
I mean, or go
I do
ahead and
believe.
buy it
Yeah.
to start with, and buy you a little cheap one and start out. It will save you so
Exactly.
much money because here's the thing: even though that label costs me 7 cents for every one I print out versus 3 cents on my laser printer, the time it takes to cut it out and then the tape that you have to tape it down with,
You definitely. Yeah.
you're going way over 7 cents.
Yeah. I agree. And I think just the simplicity of it is worth it early on. Even like after you make your first $30, I would reinvest that into that. I think you have to have the scale to begin with. So you're going to spend that money before you start. But after you make $30 and you have enough money to pay for one of those, that's the best investment I believe you can make.
It is. It truly is.
You know,
Because
so
it's
those are,
it's so much easier too
Mhm.
to just print it out, peel it and stick it, especially when you're using poly bags
Yep.
and bubble mailers, and a lot of people will say, well, why don't you cut down the size of your to get your poly bags? Because I have a poly bag that I love. I buy it off of Amazon. It's a particular kind. I get a big package, two big packages. It's an 8x5x1. And I've got so much stuff that actually fits in it, believe it or not. But it is the perfect size for a label. Now, don't do this because I made this mistake, and I had a guy. He messaged me through eBay, and he's like, "Thanks, man." As I was opening my package, I was so scared I was going to damage it because I wasn't paying attention, and I was like, "Well, this will make it seal better." And I stuck the sticky label. It was like one of the first ones I shipped out. I stuck the sticky label from the thermal printer right over the back flap.
Put it on the front.
Yeah, put it on the front. It makes it's easier to open. They get a little bit, especially if you're shipping something like Ben's does a whole lot of cards.
Yes.
Ship one of those and they got to cut it. Boy, they will freak out.
All the cards I ship in a regular label, a regular envelope. I just put the label on the front.
Speaking of shipping, though, we're going to get away just a little bit, folks, and come
All
right
right.
back. Have
What
you
do you got?
seen the new option on eBay for shipping, like envelope shipping or something? I need to check. We need to check into that. It's like not even you. It's not even Ground Advantage. I saw it popped up the other day. It's not media mail.
Yeah, there's envelope shipping that it goes on
Does it still do
for
track?
cards. What? It has tracking, it has everything. It costs like 90 cents at the low level. If you're over up to 3 ounces, I think it's like $1.28. So yeah.
I might have to
But
look at that
it's
for
mainly
a
for cards. And they do some other small stuff. But yeah, I do that with my cards and my postcards mainly.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Anyway, all right. So back to things you need, folks, because we're going really in depth. We've talked about this sometime before, but we've never gone into this much depth of what you really need.
And I think that's what you need, right? You need packing supplies. You need to be able to shipping labels. You need a scale. Those are the things that I think you need to start. Spend the money, get that going. Beyond that, things that I think you really need is like a spreadsheet or a tracking app that tracks the cost of goods, the listing date, the sales price, and your profit margin. I mean, you have that. You got a great spreadsheet, right?
I've got three. One's too complicated. It was actually designed by my wife, who was an accountant. It's too complicated for me to use.
Yeah. So you need to be tracking what it costs you. I do different than you. I do, this is what I spent. This is what I made. I do that cost in, cost out. You were doing it at each individual item. I don't know that you need to do that. I think it's a lot of work. So
It is a lot of work. Now it will make it easier if I've gotten away from that one because it's complicated. Now, if I end up getting to where I cross over, and probably next year, I'm probably going to start in January using that one again. And here's why, folks. Next year, based on how much I have grown every year doing this, next year I'm probably going to hit the tax threshold where I'm not going to want to take just a standard write-off tax
Yeah.
on it. I'm probably going to want to do some, because I'm probably going to make enough to where I need to itemize a little bit on the. But for your first year, just a common, even if you go to like Staples and buy it's called a ledger book. They may not know it is that, but it's one of those old green accountant books, attendance book. We used to, similar to that. You can buy one of those. If you remember those from way back in the day of school, some teachers still use them, some don't. But it's just something to keep up with. Yeah, what you're doing, so you kind of know if you're making money. eBay tries, but eBay doesn't have a way to factor in what you actually paid for the item, and so they only know what you listed at and what it sold at and what their fees took away from it, and they can tell you the difference. So theirs is not really accurate for what you need it for business. But yeah, I do think some way of keeping up with it, even if it's a Word document, some
Yes.
way of keep.
Anything that, the other thing I think after I think you get beyond the first store of 250 items. Once you start doing a bigger store, I think you need a storage system. Or maybe before that. Depends on how
It
you
depends on
are,
what you're doing,
right?
because
Plastic
I'm a
bins, some shelves, labels, label drawers, or keep your inventory organized. I always have, since I'm a warehouse guy, I've always given every item its own item number, and that way I can find it very quickly. I think a lot of people start this and don't do that. They just say, okay, they start selling. Now they're up to like 300 items, and now you go to pick number 289, and it's like, I can't find it. But I do think you need, from the beginning, to start some kind of storage system. What about you? You think that?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I didn't to start with. When I had like 25 to 50 items, I didn't need it. I mean, I could tell what it was. But now, okay, so like now my clothes, the clothes that I sell, I don't have item numbers on assigned item numbers, because let's face it, I look at the picture and I go, it's this. It's hold it up, folks. Unless you're colorblind or something like that. If you are, I apologize. I'm not trying to throw off on you, but you know, you know, it's what it is. But
Yeah.
on stuff like my all my jewelry, everything like that, I have labels on them. And so okay, so I sell a lot of pocket watch chains, and they don't make a whole lot of money, but I sell a lot of them, and a lot of them are the same chain.
Yeah.
So like I looked the other night, I had sold a CO8. And that means nothing to Ben's or you guys listening, but that's my internal code. It stands for chain number 8. CO8. So I went over there, I sold one. I've got them, and I've got them all in the same bag because I match them up what they are. And I went, great, I've got another CO8. So I took one of the CO8s out of the original bag. It has CO8 up, sealed it back up, threw it back in its bin, packaged it up, sold it, and relisted.
Yep.
Now, why? Let's talk just a minute there. Just a tip. Relist. Why would you relist instead of sell similar? Because once you've sold that item, it's going to establish a cost plus. It triggers algorithms in eBay to say, "Hey, this item sold. This is an item we want to push," and so it
Yes.
helps. It helps with that. So relist on that instead of sell similar, because if you sell similar, you lose that connection.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. You got to have some type of, and that's why I want to get my other racks on the wall. If you look up here now,
So
I've got all this here categorized, but I mean, those already have a number from the manufacturer, so I use the manufacturer number on those type of items. But my pocket watches don't have that. My regular watches don't have that. My pocket watch chains don't have that. My other jewelry, I'm starting to get into cufflinks. They don't have any of that. So I've got to put its own number, because you don't want to ship the wrong item to the person at the other end.
I got a question for you. Why would you not just put, I have 23 of item A? Why would you just wait, sell one, and then relist?
I don't know. I mean, I've just always done it that way, and I think it's because you told me to do it that way. I never
Yeah, so
really
this is what it comes down
reasonable.
to: is it makes it more it makes it more desirable that you don't have a bunch of them. So if you had like 20 of them, somebody might go, well, if I don't buy it today, it'll still be there tomorrow. I found that when I do the same thing, I have multiples of an item. I list one and then relist. It also, like you said, makes the algorithm say, oh, this item sells. So it'll sell again. And the more you sell that same item, the more it sells. It's just a trick of the trade there.
CO8, I know by heart. CO8,
Yeah.
folks. I'm not going to tell you what CO8 is. You can go try to find it on my Frugal Deals
But
on
it
there.
sells over and over and
But
over
it
again.
it sells a lot, and I'm down to 2 of them, and I'm
Yes.
going. I'd
You need to
like to
find
have
some more.
because that one chain right there sells for $15 to $18 every time, just like
But if you
clockwork.
listed the 20 that you had to begin with, I don't think you got the same result. That's
Mm-mm.
my thought process. I don't know if it's true.
I don't know that I would have either.
The last thing
Um,
that I think that if you're selling on eBay, start a bank account. Set something up so that way you have a way to account for the money. Set up a PayPal and eBay payments or other platform system, whatever you're looking at, that the money all goes to one place. So that way you can account for it instead of having it just come into your personal bank account. So that way it is separate. I think that's a plus. You
and
did
then
that, right?
I did that. I went with, and I don't mind saying who I went with. I went with Capital One for that. Now Ben's may have gone with somebody else. I went with Capital One at online banking because number one, it meshes real good. Capital One has really spent a lot of money in meshing with a whole lot of different things. It was easy to load it in because I had to click 2 buttons inside eBay. Literally, when I loaded up Capital One, I clicked 2 buttons inside eBay. I went into Capital One and clicked 2 buttons, and it did it. It linked itself.
Exactly.
The other beauty of having a separate bank account is this: eBay will still do what I call pocket grab. So back in 2006, and I've talked about this several times, had my first store, we had a problem, I got ripped off, and they still took the money. Okay, so the last time I had a return, eBay told me that, and they're better than they were then, but they literally tell you in the disclaimer, if it comes to a dispute between you and the buyer, they will step in. Once they make their decision, there is no arguing with eBay's decision. And if they decide that you're going to refund the entire amount, they're going to take it from your bank account to refund the entire amount. So make sure that you are. Now, I'm going to give you another hint because I know some of you are going to think, well, I'll just take the money out of that and not have to worry about it. And then, eBay just won't be able to get the money. Okay. Don't try that because the first thing that's going to happen, they tell you if you try that, is when it doesn't go through, they will freeze your eBay account. And then you're going to start going through collection stuff because they go ahead and pay the buyer. So that money they're
Yeah.
taking from you is not the money they're giving to the buyer. It's the money to pay them back. And so if you want to get nasty calls from collection agencies for the next 7 years, try that. But you're going to get kicked off of eBay immediately. So, you're done there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely recommend having a second bank account, a non-primary. Not only does it help keep up with when you're buying stuff, you buy it out of that bank account. When you're, you know, when you're selling anything, the money goes in there. I have everything. If I have that bank account set up so that if the 495, if I've not met it, because some months you won't, because if they pay out and then they charge, it may get paid out before they charge the 495 or the 49.95 or the $3,075 for if you got whatever. I mean, I'm making up some numbers there, but whatever the store cost is,
Yes.
sometimes it will happen, or you won't have sold enough and you'll have a bad month and they'll charge you the 495. You need to have somewhere for that to be charged to. So yes, definitely have a separate bank account. It helps you keep up with all your expenses. It helps you keep up with all what you're receiving. and it does protect you so that you're not commingling and everything. So there's a whole lot of things in that. But yes, Capital One's one of the you love them, hate them, whatever. They have their scruples just like every other bank. But I found that they were one of the easiest to set up the bank account and to link it with eBay. Now there are some disadvantages, like I said. I don't have any branches I can really go to or anything like that. But whatever. I don't. I use the debit card to buy what I want to buy. If I need to go pull cash out like Ben's does, I go to Walgreens because Walgreens has a deal with Capital One. So I can go make transactions at Walgreens. It's pretty cool. But that's my thing. Now, did you say that was the last thing you think they need?
I do. What else do you think they need?
Now
That's why we're here.
Now you some sticks together and build you an ugly bedding. I'm not kidding you. You will not take as good of pictures.
And buy
Do not buy a light box, folks.
a light box for like 35 to $80. Still works.
They're too expensive, folks. He says
They're
30 to
not.
85 bucks. Do you know what light box you're going to get for 30 to 85 bucks? You're going to get one that's 4 inches.
No, I have a 3 foot by 3 foot. I probably paid $100 for it.
Yeah, and I built my ugly Betty for like, next to nothing, and it is it will
And
do
I think your ugly Betty ended up costing more than mine.
It did because I made a few mistakes, but again, you can go back. We can show some pictures of it some other time, but mine will take 4 foot by 4 foot pictures. So if I've got a huge, I'm telling you, you don't need one that big. But
So I'm just saying, how much stuff
box.
did you be selling that's 4 foot by 4 foot?
Right.
How much stuff really at this point?
When I built it,
that's not the right thing to do.
When I built it, I was like, I got some large painting. Yeah,
So we were super into selling big artwork. I will not sell artwork over 24 by 24 now because the cost of shipping is way crazy.
I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, people might want to pay it.
I'm not gonna sell. I'm no longer gonna fool around with prints that big. But if I find a nice canvas painting and I can verify the artist, even a regional artist is like that's kind of known, I will do larger art. I will do it.
And don't disagree. I will do that. But I will just put a light on the wall and take it there.
Unless you have a long hallway that nobody's going to be messing with, that you can control really good lighting in. I mean, I'm sorry, but you do need a light box. I think so because,
I agree.
So clothing works fine laid flat on a table, but any other thing needs to be in a light box. Now, eventually, I want to get one of them turntables and punch it up through my ugly Betty so that I can rotate while I'm taking the pictures from the bottom without having to. And I've seen those in light boxes. That gets even more expensive.
Yes.
Where they can, but I'm just telling you, I can turn off the lights in here, flip the light switch on the side for ugly Betty, and I can take some of the most gorgeous pictures you've ever seen in your life that you cannot take just like in a hallway or whatever. I mean, I can make it look like it was taken in a professional gallery somewhere in New York or California.
I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think most people should be selling anything over 24 by 24 inches. So
it depends on what it is. Like I said, I will not sell artwork that big unless it is an actual painting.
No, I agree.
I'm not doing the numerical prints that big. They don't sell for enough.
So, if I find a painting by someone, I'll figure out how to take the picture. But I think people need to be realistic about this is what makes money. This costs you money.
I disagree. Depends on what it is. Depends on what it is. I'm the one who sold that one painting for $20, and they paid $100 and some in shipping. I mean, I never thought that.
Yeah, I agree. You made $70 on shipping. That was awesome.
I mean,
I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying, as you're starting out, the things that you need you need all the shipping materials. You need a scale. you need a label printer, and you need a light box that's 24 by 24, and don't worry about the rest of it.
Yeah, light box 24 by 24, you can do that.
We'll do most of it, yes.
But I think you need a light box. And,
I
you know,
agree.
we talked about lighting.
Dave bought a light box that was like big enough to hold a human being. He's never going to use that.
Well, now Dave did that because doesn't Dave have mannequins? Wasn't
I
he the
think he
one
did.
that has mannequins?
Yeah. He could put some clothes
And
on.
I will
whatever.
tell you right now, that is one thing. If I was going to continue selling clothes, which as soon as I sell all the clothes I've got, I'm not doing clothes again.
I don't like
But
clothes.
if you are selling clothes, which they're big sellers, but if you're selling clothes, if you want to make a room, I would suggest making a room, you know, or a closet that you can set a mannequin in and take pictures of, you know, not of the mannequin, but of the clothes on the mannequin. I do know that from reading and doing a lot of research that mannequins help sell clothes. They use it in retail stores. Why? Because you look at it and you see how it fits on that person. You go, well, it's bound to look good on me. Not necessarily, but that's what you think. And so you go, oh, that's cute. You notice it on the mannequin more than you notice it hanging on the rack. And you can see kind of how the shirt, like right now, I mean, everybody, like, if you look at Ben's and I's polos, we're both wearing polos right now. Okay.
Button-up shirt. I'm not wearing a polo.
Oh, you're wearing a button-up shirt. I thought you were wearing a polo, but he's wearing a button-up shirt. Okay. So right now you can tell. Okay, put your shirt back on. Anyway, you can see the shoulders. You look at where his shoulders are on his shirt and where they are in mine. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but the look that I go for and the sizing that I try to do is I want the shoulder length to lay right here. Why? That comes from the way I was raised. That comes from the military time. You know, I want everything crisp, but some guys like a more relaxed fit, and so they want it to hang down a little, you know. So when you have the mannequin
with weak shoulders, I agree. Go ahead.
When you have the mannequin, it makes a difference in how it actually flows. And for ladies, and I hate speaking for you ladies because it's like, you know, I don't understand you, but I've been learning what you buy and how you buy it more. So I know that now I've got to make not just waist, but hip, or not just outside seam, but or not just inseam, but outside seam, because that tells you whether it's low rise, mid rise, or high rise on pants. You know, you ladies like, you know, a lot of you like shirts that flow to the midriff. Some of you like shirts that flow beyond the girly bits. So knowing how those shirts hang, I mean, he's laughing at me, but if you're a lady watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know,
beyond the girly bits.
Well, and some of that has to do with how the girl is, whether the girl's more modestly dressing or more, you know, I call it got a man, don't have a man. But anyway, got a man looking for a man, or I guess got a woman looking for a woman, however you feel these days, whatever you're looking for. But anyway, the simple truth of the matter is mannequins, and I think him buying a light box, if he can afford it that way, great. I wouldn't buy a light box that huge. I would build a room. I would make my room be able to do it, or a closet be able to do it. You can easily take a closet if you got wire shelves, just the old school wire shelves that use the, I wish I had, okay, I got them right here. So if your wire shelves have these right here, these old snap-ins that mount on the wall like this, you can snap them out, turn them down, shelf folds back. You can slide a mannequin in there wearing clothing and take a picture. And usually closets have pretty good lighting, and they're usually painted flat with flat white paint because it's the cheapest paint out there. And contractors will paint them flat white. While they may paint your other walls satin or eggshell, but they'll paint the inside of the closets flat white.
Flat white.
So another thing I think you need, and I'm gonna add this last one here. I know we're running down on time. Magic erasers. Oh,
magic erasers are great.
In other words, I think you need some cleaning supplies, and you need
supplies
that don't hurt anything. So sometimes I will get a piece of jewelry, and like I had a pair of cufflinks the other night that came in. I had gotten, and I didn't buy them, but they were given to me to do this exact same thing. Now I've got some special cufflinks that are set aside. I'll never sell them, but these were given to me. Like they're cheap. They're not gold. They're not anything special. But they had a mark on them. But I was able to take a magic eraser and go right over that mark just very lightly, and it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It may have been pen. It may have been, I mean, it was something with a little black smudge.
Yeah.
That, that wouldn't bring off. So I had to use.
We haven't touched on the cleaning supplies you need, because hopefully you're buying stuff that doesn't need to be cleaned as you get further into this. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that works really good,
Well, a lot of times you can buy stuff that's dirty. Like if you're in a yard sale and it's kind of dirty,
Yeah.
like, it's kind of,
You
it's got
clean it
some
up.
stain. If you
Mhm.
can clean it up and you know how. Beat up frames on artwork.
Oh,
Lord, go get you some wood finish pens.
Or just, what's that, where you clean it up?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Comes in the bottle. Yeah.
I'm not
just
sure.
use-
But anyway, there's a lot of supplies you can get that will help you sell items. And if you buy
Yes.
them already, as long as you don't buy shirts, white t-shirts that are stained with ketchup. Unless you've got some special way of bringing it out. I mean, because even Clorox won't always bring them out. But, you guys know what I'm talking about. But a lot of times, Ben used to buy hats real cheap that were already dirty. And we were together one time. He's like, no, I can't fix that one. It's too far gone. So we threw it back. But I learned that Ben's would pick some and he would go, okay, this one here I can clean up, and that one's a $10, $15 hat.
Old English. That'll clean a lot of stuff up.
So
On like a painting.
and if you buy stuff from places like thrift stores, Goodwill, stuff like that, you need some goof off. Because they stick them stupid stickers on there.
No, you need
And
that.
sometimes
for sure.
you have to take some goof off or goop off or whatever it's called.
Goof off.
And you wipe it down just a little bit to get that sticky whatever leftover residue off of it. Anyway, so those are the things I would add. You may have a lot of this stuff in your closet, cleaning closet, supply closet.
Yeah, I agree.
Paint pens
The
are
thing I
good.
use a lot of is the pink cleaner, like pink cleaner.
Mhm.
That stuff cleans just about anything. If you have like a mug that has a little bit of weird like line in it, that pink cleaner cleans it right off. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Well, a
you
lot of
look
that
for.
in a mug will be like a coffee stain.
Yeah,
The
it's
mug
like a
looks
coffee
great, but
stain,
somebody drank coffee in it and didn't wash it out. They let it sit.
Exactly. That pink
it's-
cleaner works really great for that. Or, Brasso, which is like if you have like some metal that needs to be cleaned up, it comes in like cotton swabs and you just rub it on it, cleans it right up. There's a million things you use to clean. We didn't get into that. So we'll work through it.
One of the best things you can buy, though, if you're going to deal in art, is paint pens and stain pens.
I agree. Yeah.
Because you can repair
Cleans a lot of stuff.
frames just a little bit. Now if they're broken, you can't repair that. You have to rebuild it. But if they're scuffed or something like that, you can take a paint pen. You can take if you get a stain pen that matches it. Now there's some other tricks to it. Maybe we'll go into that in another session. Because I'm big into woodworking. I've done that all my life. So restoration of antique furniture and stuff like that. So there's some other tricks of it, but there's a lot of that on YouTube that you can go check out. You don't need us to tell you how to do it.
For sure.
But there's some things like that you need. And none of this stuff's expensive. I mean, probably the most expensive thing is what? The thermal printer?
Yes. So,
smartphone.
And the other thing is,
the smartphone's the most expensive.
Smartphones, but everybody has one in their pocket. And that it's not like you have to run out and get a smartphone because you're using a flip phone. Because if you're losing a flip phone this time, there's something wrong with you. I'm just saying. You have a smartphone.
Unless you're using that new flip phone. I mean, but they're smartphones. So
they're smartphones. But I'm just saying, you're not using a Nokia.
I mean,
Razor.
Mine's got the one camera. You don't have the 3-pod or the whatever. Yeah, like it. Mine's got one, and it does just as good. So
I don't know if it does just as good, but it does
This is
fine.
just as good for what we're doing here on eBay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Pocket Change and listening to us fools tell you how to do what you need to do. Joe, what do you have to say?
I think you summed it up. Thank you for listening to us tell you what you may need that we might not have,
Yeah.
we might
So
we
if you
might
have
not use.
comments or you
This is
think of
what
something
we
we
have.
missed, just tell us. So we can use help too.
Mm.
Thank you and have a wonderful week.